Hello builders, parents, and collectors. On this episode of the Creation Evaluation Station, it's time for another top 10 sort of countdown. I'm going to be counting down the top 10, which in this case is 6, of the Season 13 Master of the Mountain wave from Ninjago. I finished reviewing all of them, so we're going to just talk about my favorite ones. Afterwards, I'll talk about the wave overall and also be showing you the combined dungeon form at the very end. So, let's get started. Number 6 of 10 is the Journey to the Skull Dungeon. And it's there's nothing terrible. In fact, this was a hard list to make. But it is my least favorite, mainly because it doesn't have any vehicles or any creatures or monsters or mechs or dragons or anything like that. And it's just a basic playset. And although I compared it to the island playset, it wasn't as good as that one, but it's partially because of the whole dungeon type game anyways. That island had a lot of space to actually play on, open areas and all sorts of little different terrain and stuff. Well, this was much more focused and just had pathways, but that's part of the game of this dungeon, so that was kind of expected. But yeah, it was my least favorite. Number 5 is Zane's Mino Creature. Now this one was interesting. We got a different creature for once. It's not a dragon, it's not a vehicle, it's a rhino, I guess. I'm not quite sure why they call it Mino. I'm a little confused on that. The set was overall confusing because it says it's Zane's Mino Creature, and for whatever reason Zane always has a creature, just like the latest ice creature set. But it also looked like it was a combination of Zane and Cold, kind of like they did with the Firestone mech, but it's not mentioned in the name, and Cole is in the set, so I'm not sure. That one was a little confusing, but I liked the set. The Rhino was pretty cool. I was a little disappointed it didn't have shoulder motion, but didn't really need it too much. The only thing I would have liked to see in the set, which really wasn't a disappointment, but what I liked to see is it had an awesome ramming horn mechanism, but there is nothing really for it to ram, so it would have been really good if it was like some kind of castle wall that it could have rammed into. Maybe it had a breakaway feature or something. That would have been nice. But because this is more supposed to be like a dungeon type thing, that's what you ended up getting, was like a dungeon path through this fiery place, and really nothing that the Rhino could break through. But it still had a really cool feature. Okay, number 4 is the Firestone mech. Now this was a really interesting looking mech, unique, very unique. It is, you'd think it'd be higher on my list since it was a mech, but it's not. Not because of its detriment, it's because some of the other sets are just kind of better. This one was, like I said, a very unique looking mech. It did have some like minor issues with the posability, sort of. Like, it didn't have bendable knees, which actually I don't have a problem with not bendable knees, but it was the knees were at a strange angle and permanently stuck at that. They looked pretty good, but if you looked at it from the side and the fact you could not change the angle, it looked like it was squatting all the time, and was a bit awkward that way. It had posable ankles, although limited motion, but posable ankles and hips. Now, it was a very solid build, unlike some mechs. It was very solid, so pieces would not be falling off it or anything like that, which is greatly appreciated. Well, I say greatly appreciated. I don't mind if it has looser stuff on them, but for kids to play with, it was really great to have a solid mech build like that. Great for play. Number 3 is the Skull Sorcerer's Dungeon. This set was awesome. Now, this is once again more of a play set. no vehicles or beasts or dragons or mechs or anything like that in it. But it's up higher on my list, which, you know, after what I said about the first set, is, you might think, well, why is it this high up? And that's because really the engineering and the design of this was just absolutely amazing, and it was great to build. There was all these mechanism traps and rotating blades and stuff like that that were embedded in this giant dungeon area, and that was just threw me for a loop. There was a lot of eye to detail. It looked really good for a evil sorcerer's dungeon anyways. And yeah, that's why it's up high on my list. It was really fun to build, and it's really gonna be fun for kids to play with because of all the little traps and motions and stuff like that going on. For me personally, I just really enjoyed the build. This list is more geared to me personally than to, say, kids, but they would find this enjoyable as well, as long as they're old enough to, you know, build it, of course, and not have problems building it. Number 2 is Woo's Battle Dragon. Now, this is the actual smallest set, and it's kind of the precursor set. I feel like it takes place when Wu is younger, and so it's like a flashback. But that's my personal theory on this whole wave. Like, you get the flashback at the first, then you get the adventure into the journey to the Skull dungeon, and so on and so forth. So I don't know. That's my whole theory going on with this sets. This whole wave of sets. But yeah, Wu's Battle Dragon was really great. For such a small dragon, and that's one reason why it's up on my list. It's such a small dragon, it looks really great. The wings were great. I would like to see newer, small dragons be built as well as this. It was all brick built, including the head. There was no plastic head or, you know, molded head or anything like that. And the only detriment it had was the back legs were kind of weak, so if you put any pressure down, they would fold up, and like he would sit down on his back legs. They would, if you didn't touch it, it would stand fine. It would hold up its own weight, but it wouldn't take much to actually press down on it. So that's number 2. The number 1 is also another dragon, and notice the dragons are all at the top of the list. But this one was really awesome, and this was the Skull Sorcerer's Dragon. So the bad guy's dragon. This thing was really awesome, and this is also playing into my theory that this dragon was Wu's Battle Dragon, but years later the Skull Sorceress killed it, reincarnated it, brought it back to life, something like that, and now he owns it. They're both white, although the Skull Sorcerer's Dragon is an undead dragon, so its bones would be showing through, and they'd be white. But yeah, I really like this set. The dragon worked really well. I liked the function with the bomb that's dropped from its chest. Now, would I've rather had flappy wings? Probably. Now, the wings I really did like. I like the looks of them. I did wish they would close up, maybe fold up, just so they could take up a little less space. But they looked really nice, and overall the dragon was very zoomable if you wanted to play with it that way, and it was pretty solidly built. One had pieces falling off it. There were these 2 little weapon size that would get knocked off if you put your hand in the wrong spot, which I don't even know why they're on there, except to hold weapons, because they really didn't need to be there. They didn't add to its appearance. But the dragon had a nice long body that was good for, almost had a built-in handle to it, which that helps as well. They like to do that with their dragons. This might have been the first one they did it with, I'm not sure. Good design though. Overall design really nice aesthetic with the undead appearance. I mean, yeah, they use skeleton pieces, but they also made it kind of, ligaments and things like that with the going down its tail and body. Looked pretty cool. Had a brick built head as well. That looked amazing. It had some prints for the eyes, and that was the only thing that wasn't just plain bricks, was adding a print, which that's not too much. Only other detriment I would say it had is that the shoulders did not move. And I partially think that's because the wings were mounted on those shoulders rather than on the actual back of the dragon. And also, they seemed to be that seemed to be a design philosophy or whatever by whoever designed these sets, because the rhino also didn't have shoulder movement. Now it's funny because the dragon had elbow movement too, rotation, but really you couldn't do anything with it without having the shoulders move as well. So that was kind of a wasted joint there. Might as well have been stuck in a fixed joint. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There's just some weird nitpicky things that I wish were a little bit different with it, and probably could be changed with some modifications. And then it also had a large dungeon area with different effects, so you had quite a bit going on with that set as well. You had 2 dungeon sections with different traps and things on it, so there was quite a bit going on with that. Yeah, that was my #1 favorite set. So let me know what your favorite sets are or which ones were your favorite, or what your list would be down in the comment section down below. Now, overall, what I thought of this wave, I really liked this wave, despite the fact that it was very heavily terrain based. You had a lot of terrain that was the focus of it, because it was a dungeon and you can't do much with it. But I do like the fantasy element. I wish they'd bring castle back, although this wasn't exactly castle, but fantasy definitely. And I think they actually did this wave and the wave previously for this to as kind of an apology for them beating out Nexo Knights, but that's just my personal theory, because about a year and a half before these came out, Nexo Knights got discontinued, and I really liked that wave. And the fact that they had both a futuristic and a fantasy one, which that's what Nexo Knights was a combination of both. I felt like, yeah, they were apologizing that Ninjago beat out Nexo Knights again and pretty much got it canceled. I mean, it had at least 3 waves, or at least 3 seasons to the show. I don't know about 3 waves. It might have been more than that. There were quite a few sets, but I think it was supposed to have more, because some of the last sets that came out were never part of the show. There was a whole new villains that were introduced and everything. But that's that. Overall, yeah, I did enjoy this wave quite a bit, even if ninjas and dungeon crawling knights are not quite the same. But it was really fun, and I like the armor too that they ended up getting for them. So that's it here. Let's head over to the light box and check out the whole entire dungeon put together with all, well, it was only 4 sets, not all sets. There's 2 sets that were not included in that, and that was Wu's Battle Dragon and the Firestone Mag. Okay, so we have everything here I put together like it's just showed here in the map here, like this right here. Now, interesting thing to note is this piece right here is not attached. There's no attachment points here. It's just kind of floating here, although there are places that could be attached here, over here. So there's other loose attachments that you can add onto this, or like I said, you can put, you just need a clip on here to be able to add it on. I don't know why that particular set did not have any clips, but it didn't. So let's take a look here, move around at the different possible paths here, or swinging thing here, so we can go either way there. Basically, how you play is you have the dice. Oh, let's see, we got the instruction book here. Now, I think these are different for each set, but they give you the general rules. Like this one specifically talks about different things here. But basically, if you roll on a one of these skull pieces, which I didn't put the decals on, but if you roll on a skull step, you would roll a dice and see if you if it was a skull, you would lose. If it's a heart, like it is down here, you would pass. And this goes for any battles if you encountered anybody as well. So you move that around. You also roll the dice here. There's 1, 2, and 3, so you can move up to 3 spaces, and that will let you go the way you want it to go. Not quite sure about how these work out with the special tiles like this. On top of that, there's also, if you open this up all the way, there's this too. And I think you're supposed to be able to use this and expand your board even more. Although, like I said, I'm not sure what all these symbols mean. But this could be used too, and you just put your different sets on the corner, and then they would move through here along with the actual board here as well. So you can make your play area even bigger. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, we start here, can go either way. You would, roll some dice to see which way it lands, etc. You move across here, then from there, I guess jump down there, move up there, move down to there. Then if you take the other route, you go up through the main area. And once again, you gotta divide. You could go off to the side here, up and around, and even up the side. You'll see there's like little things to climb up the side and go to the top of the well, not castle, but dungeon, whatever you want to call it. And then moving back down to that where we started, you can go straight through, and you would go into the lava there, and there's a lava fall, I guess you would say, and behind that is a sword. Or instead of going straight through, you go off to the side here and climb up to here. You can go up into the sorcerer's little domicile there, along with saving the princess here at the crane thing here. Or down here at the front again, you can go off to the side, move around here. There's another sword up there, and there's also another cage. Maybe somebody else is trapped in there. Or you could go down back here. There's a down back, move across there. There's a rest area. There's some hearts, a gem. And you can also continue along and move along the back here. And we're end up back over here onto where the little black skeleton is there. So there's a lot of different paths to choose from and play from. It's interesting to note, we have 5 of these swords in here. Now, if you want one for every ninja, a special sword for every ninja, there's different ones. There's mostly white, I think. 1 white, 2, that one's black. There's a white one in there. 3, 2 black ones and a white one, 2 white. 3 white ones and 2 black ones. If you want a 6th one, so all your ninjas have one, the other 2 sets have just a small little platform with a sword on it. So you could bring one of those in to add to this to make sure there's enough swords for everybody. But there's other hidden weapons in here, like there's like a bone mace sitting right here. Could use as a weapon, I suppose. But there's like a battle axe, there's a bunch of swords, there's a whole cache of weapons over in that corner. There's a lot of different things. So yeah, this is pretty neat, all put together. A lot of options to play. We've looked at everything, all the little details, went through all the sets, but this is pretty cool, put together, huge like this. And you could add on to it if you had, you know, orange plates with some more rock pieces and things. You could expand this out easily, and like I said, you can use the map here to make it bigger as well. Design your own traps. Really pretty cool. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment down below what you like. What do you think about this combining stuff? I really think having sets combined together is really cool. Although, like I said, this one as a large playset isn't really my cup of tea. But even having this ability is really nice. And what do you think of my list? How would you rank all these sets? And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you're new here, hit the sub button and the notification button so you are notified when I get new videos out. And also check down in the description, I have Facebook and Twitter links. If you follow me on those, you'll get notifications faster than YouTube. And also, there's a Patreon down there if you want to check that out as well and try to help the channel more directly. And that's it for me here at the Creation Evaluation Station, reminding you that creativity is key.